hypothalamus, those are parts of the diencephalon, and those are relay centers of the brain. So I'll talk about that just a minute. So cerebellum coordinates muscle activities. For example, if you think about how many muscles of the body I have to have control over to walk. How many muscles of my body am I actually having to have control over? Most of them, right? I'm upright, so I've got to have those muscles to keep myself upright. I've got to coordinate walking. All of the muscles of my lower legs have to be coordinated. The muscles of my trunk, the muscles of my shoulders and my arms. So there's a lot of coordination going on there, right? Yeah, it's a ton of coordination. So we have an entire area of the brain called the cerebellum, or the little brain, that actually coordinates all of this, because that would take up a lot of time and energy trying to coordinate it in other areas. And we call it the little brain because it's down here, this whole little area right here. So we have somebody who's having trouble walking. If we ruled out inner ear, we might look at the cerebellum as being a possible cause of the inability to walk properly or talk properly or coordinate muscle movements properly. Okay, and then the brainstem itself is going to regulate all of those visceral things. So your heartbeat, your respiration, those types of things are coordinated in the brainstem, and that's why you can hear somebody's brain dead, right? Brain dead means that their heart's still beating, their lungs are still working, they're able to breathe, heart's still going, but there's no cortical function up here. That's because the brainstem is generally intact, and it's coordinating all of those things that are necessary for survival. That's what being brain dead is the brainstem still functioning, nothing up here that's making us human is functioning. We also have problems with people who do have brain injuries. Depending on where the injury occurs, it will affect different things. So the frontal lobe's going to affect different things, the parietal lobes, the temporal lobes, all of those things have different kind of functions. So depending on where the damage is what kind of outcomes we can expect for this person. Okay? Y'all have these on the, Matt's writing like crazy.
I don't know what.
I've got the PowerPoints.
If I write it down, I'll remember it better.
Yeah, same way I am. I don't.
Miss Blake always gives us these things, and I still have to go read and highlight.
Yeah, it's always easier if you write it down, because then your brain's actually getting it more than one way. All right, so your skull, then you've got all of this wonderful gray matter right here, and this very large portion of the cerebellum, or the cerebrum, cerebellum down here, called the mini brain or the little brain. We have these thick tissues of white matter called the corpus callosum, which are relay tracks. They're going to help the right brain and the left brain coordinate with each other and talk to each other. This right here, sitting right in the sphenoid gland.
So that's why, and to bring it like a little bit to like, I guess, grotesquerie. So when we shoot, we aim for the brainstem and the cerebellum because that controls
Breathing and respiration and heartbeat.
Voluntary movement.
Right. If you take out the brainstem right here, between the eyes, it's going to go right through here. That is the respiration and the heartbeat, right there. If you shoot them right there, the respiration stops, the heartbeat stops, their ability to move at all because they're completely paralyzed at that point. That's certain death right there. Which is why
we taught like almost like if you were to get like a sweatband, it would be like here.
Yep, because you're going straight through this.
To incapacitate.
Right, it's going to completely incapacitate the person. It's going to kill them dead. You can shoot in other areas, you could kill them, but there's a possibility of survival. But if this right here, if this entire area is taken out, there's nothing we can do. Like nothing. Not that you probably want us to anyway. But it's very protected there, which is why the occipital bone back here is the thickest bone in the skull, because it's actually protecting the brainstem a little bit. But from the front, because you have nothing but these spaces here, it's much easier to get to it. Okay. Now, right here we have something very, very important as well. That is called the pituitary gland. And it's actually attached to the hypothalamus, which is part of the diencephalon, by this little stalk of tissue called the infundibulum. And we sometimes call this the master gland. So the hypothalamus is actually going to control the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland is going to control all of the other glands in the entire body. So your entire, with the exception of maybe 2 different things, all of the glands are going to be controlled by this master gland, which is in turn controlled by the hypothalamus. Really important. Now, if we have to go in and remove part of the hypothalamus, or part of the pituitary, let's say it's diseased, how would we get to it? Through the nose or through the roof of the mouth, like a Kolbe sphenoidal, it's sphenoid bone. Right here is called sella turcica or Turk's saddle, that little groove that it sits in right there. Sella turcica. Turk's saddle. Okay. Anywho, this is an actual cross section of a cadaver brain. You can tell it's a cadaver brain because of the color, most of all. You can see the cerebrum here with these folds and convolutions up here, the corpus callosum, which is that white matter, that band of white matter that helps transmit signals throughout the brain itself. Then you've got the thalamus and the hypothalamus, the pineal gland, which controls sleep cycles. The pons, the midbrain, and the medulla oblongata, the cerebellum. And then we have the longitudinal fissure, which is the big groove in the brain that divides it into right and left halves. Have you guys ever heard of lobotomy? What does a lobotomy do? Yeah, what it's going to do is it's actually going to break the fibers that allow the right brain and the left brain to, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere to communicate with each other. And since emotion is usually found in one side and motor skills or motor things are found in the other side, what happens is your inability to react to emotions is after lobotomy. So you'll feel the rage, you'll feel the whatever it is that your emotions are telling you, but you will be unable to display it or act out on it. So which is why they used to give this to violent people, because they would be unable to be violent with anybody because they would have the rage going on, but they would have no ability to vocalize it or hit or anything like that. It's a brutal thing. They don't do it anymore, but that's what they used to do.
Why they don't do it no more?
Because it's pretty brutal and it's unnecessary. We can control it with medication. Unless it's like a severe case, they may go in.
I know it's you got a whole nut case.
They're gonna try not to do it. Okay. But here's your diencephalon. You said you needed to know that. That is the thalamus, the pineal gland, and the hypothalamus. And those are very, very, very important because those are some major structures. They also complete the floor and the sides of the third ventricle. You don't need to know that. But they're very important as far as information goes. The thalamus especially. The thalamus, what it does is it's a sorting center. It's one of the main sorting centers of the brain. What does that mean? Anybody want to take a guess? No? Okay. How much information are you getting right now? Like, from everything. All of your senses. You're hearing noise out there. You're hearing noise in here from that thing. It's really light, but you can hear it. You're hearing things moving around. You're hearing crunching. You're actually feeling, you're tasting it, right? And you're trying to digest it.
Yeah.
And you're feeling your clothes on you, right? You can feel your socks, you can feel your scrubs, you can feel the chair, you can feel the desktop, you can feel scratches, itches, you can see light, you can see shadows, you can see this, you can hear me. It's a lot, you're being bombarded, this overwhelming amount of information coming to you from your somatic senses. It's listening, it's hearing, it's feeling, it's doing all of these things. What would happen if we couldn't suppress some and make some higher? We can take some down and put some higher.
Over them?
Would we be able to concentrate? Absolutely not. This is kind of the seat of concentration. Basically, it allows you to kind of push things off to one side and focus in on something else. So, you've got to focus on my voice and the lecture and this. So your thalamus is busy suppressing all sorts of things like the feel of your scrubs on your skin and how the seat feels and all of the things. Your thalamus is responsible for your ability to concentrate, basically.
So people that can't
ADHD,
is
sometimes it just depends, but one of the theories is that it is completely thalamus being unable to cope with all of the information coming in. Okay? Ready? Okay. So to structure the cerebrum, I don't think you need to know that too much. You guys already know a little bit about it. That is the convolutions